Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shyler. Today we're going to be learning how to make this very beautiful textured beanie. This is unisex, so it can be worn by both men and women, and I'm going to be breaking this video into different parts as we go along. We shall be working the body of the beanie separately, then we shall be working the ribbing, then I'll drop a link in the description box for the pom-pom because I worked on it separately, but I'll be showing you how in that link. Then we shall be putting everything together. So this is a very good project for a Christmas present for those who are already making festive season presents for your loved ones. This would really be a very good project for them, and it's also a very good project for winter and spring, of course. And then yeah, let's get into the tutorial. So let's get into the tutorial. So for this project you'll need a few items, and these include a pair of scissors, any yarn of your choice. I'll be using this fingering yarn, and it's 100% acrylic. It's called Robin, and I'll be doubling my strand. Then I'll be using a 6mm crochet hook, and then a measuring tape. So we're going to first measure around the circumference of our head. So whatever size that you're making, first take a measurement around the head where the beanie is going to rest. And for me, I'm going to consider 21 to 22 inches, which is a measurement for an adult size. So I'm going to start off with a slip knot, which I've already done, and I'm going to make a chain that measures 21 to 22 inches. So these are 3 chains. Continue working this chain until you get the measurement of your head circumference. So right now we're going to first start with the body of the beanie, then we shall work the ribbing last, and then we shall put everything together. So the number of chains should be a multiple of 4 plus 6 chains. So right now I have my 60 chains, and that is my multiple of 4, and then I'm going to add a total of 6 more chains. So you can see the chain can stretch up to 22 inches, but when not stretched it's around 18.5 inches. So just make sure when you stretch that chain it's giving you the circumference of your head before adding the 6 chains. So right now I have 60 chains, which is a multiple of 4. So I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So right now I have a total of 66 chains. And then you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook. So count 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th you're going to place a total of 4 double crochets. So this chain 3 counts as a stitch, but then in this 4th chain you're going to place a total of 4 double crochets. This is the 3rd, and then the 4th. This is row 1. So this chain 3 is on its own, it's a separate stitch. And then you're going to chain up 3, skip 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th you're going to go there with a total of 4 double crochets. Chain 3, skip 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th chain you're going to place 4 double crochets. So that's the repeat for row 1. You keep chaining 3, then you skip 3 stitches, 3 chains at the base, and into the 4th chain you place a total of 4 double crochets. So keep doing that until you get to the end of the row, and I'll be showing you how to end your row. This is how your work will look like all the way across. So right now I've come to the end of my row, and this is how my work looks like. I know it looks funny right now, but it will look okay later on. So after this I have 2 chains left, and after doing your last group of 4 double crochets, you're going to go into the very last chain with a double crochet like that, and then we're going to row 2. So for row 2 you'll chain up 3. This is the row that we are going to keep repeating as we grow this beanie. So for row 2 you're going to chain up 3, turn your work, and you're going to turn it to this side. We want to grab this last stitch of the 4 double crochets. So these are 4 double crochets. You're going to prepare for a double crochet, then go to this side and then scoop out that last stitch. There's a space between the 3rd stitch and the 4th stitch, so you're going to go into that space and place a total of 4 double crochets in that same space. So this is how your work will look like, and then chain up 3 and also go to the back of this one and place your 4 stitches in between the 3rd and 4th double crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then chain up 3, go to the back here and separate the 3rd and 4th stitch and go into that space with a double crochet, a total of 4 double crochets. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Chain 3, go to the back, you just press this and move to this side so that you can separate the stitches comfortably well, and then you place your 4 double crochets in between the 4th stitch and the 3rd stitch. So this is how our work looks like. You can see it's creating bumps. So this stitch is super textured, and it creates a very good effect. You'll see as we go along. So this pops out to the front, but the stitches go to the back. Then chain up 3 and keep doing that same exact thing. Press this and separate the 3rd and 4th stitch and go into that space with a total of 4 double crochets. So right now we are working row 2. We are going to keep repeating that. Chain 3 and then 4 double crochets at the back side in between the 3rd and 4th stitch. That's all we are going to keep repeating, and this is how your work should look like. The textures are already popping up. So let me continue until the end of the row, and I'll be showing you what to do when you come to the end. So we are coming to the end of the row, and you can see that this is how our work looks like, and we are going to chain up 3 and do that same exact thing for this group of 4 double crochets. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we also have a chain 3 here at the end. So we are going into the space between the 4th and the 3rd stitch with a total of 4 double crochets, and then in this very last chain 3, which counts as a stitch, you will go ahead, you're not going to chain up 3 here, you will just go on top of that chain 3 and place a double crochet. That's how we end our row. We always have 4 double crochets and then a double crochet on its own. So after this, we are going to row 3 and we are going to chain up 3, and this counts as our very first stitch, and we are going to continue doing that same exact thing. So push this and work 4 double crochets in between the 3rd and 4th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, and then go into the, you're going to go into the 4th, the space between the 3rd and 4th stitch with a total of 4 double crochets. So we are literally doing the same exact thing as we did for row 2. Chain 3, go into the space between the 3rd and 4th stitch with a total of 4 double crochets, chain 3, and continue doing that same exact thing until the end of the row. And when you come to the end of the row, let me give some instructions. When you come to the end of the row, you will do the same exact thing here and then directly go on top of the chain 3 with a double crochet, and we shall chain up 3 and turn and do that same exact thing. So we are repeating the same exact thing as row 2. It's going to be the same exact row that we are going to work until our work builds up. I'm going to go off camera and keep working this until I get the length that I need for my beanie, and then I'll be letting you know how many rows that I did. Okay, so here we are. I did a total of 16 rows, I believe, or 17. 16 rows. That's what I did for my beanie, because I don't want it to be like very big. But if you want like a slouchy hat or something, then you can go ahead and do a total of around 20. So this is where I left off. I fastened my yarn after my 16th row, and you can see this side looks exactly like this side. This is because we kept turning while working, so the effect is seen on both sides of our work. So after this, you're going to fasten off and cut your yarn, but you're going to leave a long strand. And this is to gather our beanie together at the top. I'll be showing you how. I'm going to first put this aside, and then we shall work on the ribbing part of the beanie. So for the ribbing, I'm going to do a total of 10 chains. So start off with a slip knot and then chain up 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have our 10 chains, and this measures a total of about 3 inches, but you can do any thickness of your choice. So I decided to do 10 chains and then chain 1 extra chain and go into the second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one, and place a single crochet and continue to place 1 single crochet in each and every chain across. You'll have a total of 10 single crochets. I'm using the same exact hook, which is the 6mm crochet hook. That's the hook that I'm going to use for the whole project. So after your 10 single crochets, you're going to chain up one and turn your work. And now we're going to be working in the back loop only. So we have these 2 loops, we will go into the back loop only. So I'll start with the very first stitch and go into the back loop with a single crochet. So we are doing back loop only, single crochet all the way across. You'll have a total of 10 single crochets, back loop only, because we are not doing any increases or decreases. So this will help us create the ribbing effect on the edge of our beanie. So this is the part that's going to rest at the front of our beanie, the one that's going to hold the circumference of our head. So for row 3, as taken up, you'll chain up one and turn your work and continue to make 1 single crochet, back loop only, 1 single crochet, back loop only. And that's the row that we are going to keep repeating. We are going to keep repeating this until you have a certain number of rows. So I'm going to be showing you how to determine the number of rows to make for your beanie. So make sure you make the ribbing with the same hook as the main body of the beanie. So we're going to keep repeating this until this is how to determine how many rows to do for the ribbing. So for me, I determined that by there's a stitch here at the end, and then there's a stitch here, and then 3 stitches in between, and then a stitch here, and then 3 stitches in between. So I considered the 3 stitches as 2. So when you're counting your stitches, you count this one at the edge, this will be 1, and then 2, this one that has the 4 double crochets, then 3 and 4. I consider only 2 stitches in here, not 3, and then 5, this one with the 4 double crochets, then 6 and 7 in this gap, only 2 in the gaps. So you're going to count all the way across, and for me I got a total of 48 as I was counting. So because I was counting 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, because I don't want the ribbing to be way bigger than my beanie, because when you work like this, the ribbing is going to be stretching to this side. So I had to reduce the number of rows, and I don't do the same exact number of rows as the stitches at the base of our work. So this is where I left off. I'm counting that from the top, from the foundation chain of the main body. So I got a total of 48, and this is how my work looked like. I did a ribbing of 48 rows, and now we are going to find a way to attach this to the foundation chain of our beanie. So if you wanted a slouchy hat, I'm sure you did more rows to this side, so this is not going to tamper at all with your beanie. So right now we're at the base of our work, and after my 48 rows of the ribbing, back loop only, single crochet, I'll place my work like this, and then I'm going to align. Remember how we were considering how many rows to do? I'm going to go into these stitches. So the very first row, with the very first chain that's on the edge. So I'll go into the very first chain and work a single crochet, and then go into the second row. The second row is this one that's popping out, so just go into that and go into the second stitch, which is the chain where the 4 double crochets are, and make a single crochet, and then go into the third row and into this space with a single crochet. Remember, we're counting the space as 2 stitches, so I'll go into the next row and into the space to make a total of 2 stitches, and then go into the next row and into this stitch with the 4 double crochets. So we are just going to find a suitable way to align our work and place single crochets to attach the ribbing to the main body of our beanie. So this is how the work is going to look like in the end. I'm going to continue to attach with single crochets. Remember, every space, every chain 3 space should get a total of 2 single crochets. Should keep that in mind. So let me go ahead and keep working that until I come to the end of my work. You can see we've attached this. That means this is the wrong side of our work, the one with the seam, and then this is the outside part of our work, the one that doesn't show any point of attachment. So I'm going to continue attaching my ribbing to the main body. You can see this seems shorter, but it can stretch all the way to the end of the main body of the beanie. So let me keep attaching until the end, and then I'll meet you guys back when I've attached the ribbing to the main body. Alright, so I managed to align my work and attach the ribbing part to the main body, and after this I'm going to chain up 1 and cut my yarn. And this is how the beanie looks like right now, and we are going to attach the sides, the side. So this is going to be the back seam of our work, and since this is the inside part and this is the outside part, you're going to fold it to the wrong side, and you're going to attach these sides together. So you're not going to tamper with this string that you left here. We still need it. You're going to just grab your yarn and I'm going to be working from this side all the way up. So grab 1 stitch on this side and the first stitch on the other side, and then pull your hook through and chain 1. Make sure that chain is tight enough, and I'm going to be working while weaving in these parts, these strands that are lying around. So you go into the first 2 stitches with a slip stitch, you can use a single crochet if it's easier for you. You can use a slip stitch, any stitch is okay, or you can even use a tapestry needle to join. So let me leave this like hanging. I'll deal with them later, they're disturbing me. So I'll be using a single crochet instead of a slip stitch. So just keep attaching one stitch to the other side so that we make a tube. We are turning the flat garment into a tube. So continue to attach one stitch on this side and one stitch on the other side. So I believe you should have a total of around 10 single crochets since we had 10 stitches when we were working the ribbing part. So we finished joining that, and this is how it looks like on the outside. It doesn't show anything. And now we are onto the body of the work, and we are going to be placing a total of 2 single crochets in each and every row. So 2 single crochets there, then go to the next row and place a total of 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, then onto the next row, 1 and 2, go to the next row, 1, 2, go to the next row, 1 and 2. So that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm just placing 2 single crochets in each and every row. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this until the end of the row. So I've come to the end of my row, and I placed my very last 2 single crochets in the last rows, and then I'm going to chain up 1 and cut my yarn. So I'm going to pull through and fasten off. Then I'm going to turn my work to the right side, the side that's going to be seen by the people. And remember, we still have this strand, this very long strand, and this is how the joining looks like. It's almost invisible, it doesn't show that much, it's somewhere around here, and it has blended in well with our beanie. And now I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and I'm going to put this yarn of the very long strand that I told you to leave at this point. So let me first get rid of this. I'm going to just tie a double knot here, and I remove all the strands in my way. So this is what we have right now. And now we're going to go in and out of every you're seeing the groups of 4 stitches. You go in the first stitch, sorry, so since my yarn was down here, I had to go out from the first stitch and then in the last stitch, then out, in. So we are considering the very first stitch to go in and out, in and out, and then you pull through, and then you go to the next group, in, out. So we are only considering the first stitch and the last stitch of the 4 double crochets. Out, in, out, and then you pull your hook through, then go in, out, in, out. So we are doing that all the way around our beanie, because this is going to help us gather the top part of the beanie. So I've come back to the point where I started this gathering from, and I'm going to pull this strand very tight so that we close up this gap that we have here. So you pull this very, very tight, and then you start trying to weave in this strand so that it doesn't keep pulling open. So I'm going into a few stitches randomly so that this string is firm enough and it won't undo itself. And this is how our beanie is coming together. So I liked this because it's a very good beanie both for women and for men, because the men would really love the texture, and then for the women, they really love anything unique, so they would go in for this. So after this, you can decide to accessorize. If you have a pom-pom, you can use that. If you don't have one, then you can make one. Alright, so here we are with our pom-pom. If you don't know how to make this, I'll be dropping a link in the description box so that you can make one for yourself. This is the pom-pom that's going to go onto our beanie, and this is a perfect project for Christmas presents because this is really, really like playful and nice to look at. So you're going to grab this. You will learn how to make this in that tutorial, and then you'll have these two strands as I instructed, and then you will have these two strands. I'm going to go inside my beanie and I go somewhere here and I pull through this first strand and then skip a few stitches and pull through the second strand. So all we want to do is to tie a knot on the inside of our beanie. So we've pulled the strands onto the inside. You can see them there. So when you pull them, make sure this pom-pom is in the exact center, at the exact center of our beanie. If not, then you have to change the positioning of the strands. So we shall go in here and just make a very tight knot of around 3 times. And then you're going to cut your yarn, or you can even weave it in. So this is how our pom-pom looks like, and at this point we are done with our beanie. If you want a bigger pom-pom, you can go ahead and make a bigger one, but this was suitable for me and I prefer it like this. And yeah, this is the end of this tutorial. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.